Transport by river and canal is a vast industry. The smaller boats are called sampans. Some of them are propelled by sculling, that is, working an oar placed in the stern of the boat. They hoist a small sail when the wind is favorable. The word junk is usually applied to the larger boats with tall sails. Some of these are capable of navigating the oceans. The Chinese, you know, invented the compass and many other features of the science of navigation. For thousands of families, the family boat is their only possession in the world. The sampan is their home in every sense of the word. They cook their meals, eat and sleep there, and gain a slender livelihood from the sale of fish that they catch, or from the delivery of small cargoes of freight. Along the riverfront in this crowded city, the houses rest on stilts to protect them against floodwaters. This, of course, is Chongqing, temporary capital of China. This ancient city was abruptly transported into the brutal realities of the 20th century in 1938, when Nanking fell, and the government needed a new capital. They chose Chongqing, 1,100 miles to the west, deep in the interior, beyond the rugged mountains. It was as if we had moved our own government from Washington over the Alleghenies and beyond the Mississippi, without railroads or highways to travel on. Chongqing is famous for its steps, as London is famous for its bridges, and New York for its skyscrapers. From the river's edge to the heart of the city, the pedestrian must climb a total of 360 steps, for Chongqing is built on and around a mountain. Now we are on the great Yangtze River, which flows by Chongqing from its sources in the eternal snows of the mountains of Tibet and continues on eastward through the heart of China to the China Sea at Shanghai. The gorges of the Yangtze are world famous for their majestic beauty. Navigating the turbulent Yangtze is a stiff challenge to the strength and ingenuity of the boatman. Shoals, rocks, and treacherous currents are a continual menace. One of China's post-war tasks is to enlarge and deepen the channel of its mighty rivers and harness them so as to prevent flood as well as shipwreck. In the future, engines will provide the power to master these rivers. But for the present, there remain grueling tasks for human muscles. These boats are fighting a stiff current. The crew of one finds the task of rowing impossible, and so wades to shore and takes up the job on land. It's a desperately hard job. Scenes like these have no counterpart anywhere in the world. This boat has found still waters. Here is a stream that defies navigation, but nevertheless it serves another old familiar human purpose, as the neighborhood laundry tub. But the waters of China serve some lighter uses too. Here's an oriental version of a bullfight with water buffalo as the antagonists. only danger points in this fray seem to be the toes of the fight fans. Certainly these iron-headed beasts seem to be enjoying it. And here we have the winner and the new champion. One of the most colorful types of Chinese sport and pageantry is the Dragon Boat Festival. The history of this goes back to ancient times, and various stories seek to explain its origin. One popular version says that a renowned poet-statesman drowned himself in the river as a protest against corrupt government, and his friends set out in their boats to recover his body. Each year, on the anniversary of his death, they went to the river again to call up his spirit to witness that they were true to the cause for which he died. But today, the Dragon Boat Festival survives as a race between long canoes, some of them manned by as many as 70 men. Each community along the river has its entry, and the townsfolk come along to cheer the competitors. Here, too, we have a winner. But sometimes the rivers of China turn unkind, and the disaster of flood visits the countryside. In the past, millions of lives and billions in property values have been destroyed by the waters. But in the future, modern engineering will control these rivers for the safety and the service of the people. This is just another of the many big tasks of peacetime for which the government and people are now preparing, even while they carry on the long, bitter struggle for freedom. China has been called the sleeping giant because it clung to the ways of the past while the younger civilizations of Europe and America embarked on the Industrial Revolution. But in the years following 1911, when the reign of the Manchu emperors was ended, China began to relax its old rigid tradition of farm and village culture and to emerge into the modern world. This progress was slowed down by the civil wars that were the birth pangs of the new republic. But the Industrial Revolution had begun, and the Chinese were showing a natural aptitude for the use of the machine. The great seaport of Shanghai was a center of this new industrial life. Shanghai was first attacked by the Japanese in 1932, a year after their seizure of Manchuria. And from then on, the Chinese worked rapidly to build the wealth and the productive power which they knew they would need to withstand the inevitable assault on China proper. On the home front, handsome residential sections like this were constructed. Modernization was cut swiftly in every phase of life, particularly in the larger cities along the seacoast. Strange new scenes for ancient China.